Hey everybody, this is Chi-Wiz, and I just want to update my description for the FireFly XL stove. First thing I want to show you is how you can carry it in your pack. So it comes standard with an 8mm Ziploc pouch, and this is just a little bit tougher than the average Ziploc, and it's got room for the stove and lighter, maybe some fire starters in there too. And the other options to carry it in your pack that are optional items is one is my reinforced Tyvek pouch, which comes reinforced with a fiberglass liner, makes it extra tough, and it's also got plenty of room for the stove and other accessories, lighter, etc. And then the final option to carry it would be my large size hanging gear pouch, which also works very well to store the stove. Next thing I want to do is show you how it assembles and how it works with different pots. Okay, so the stove basically has 4 sides, and it has a stainless steel mesh floor. The sides are titanium, and they just go together with the tab and the slot mechanism. And you'll probably have some of this blue stenciling on the inside sides of your stove when you get it, and that'll just burn off with the first burn. So you put the 4 sides together, and then the last connection, the stove just needs to flex a little bit to put the last tab in. And at that point, it still can wiggle, but when you put the mesh floor in, that really tightens everything up. Put it in at a little bit of an angle and just push it down, and that makes the stove nice and snug. You can pick it up and move it around very well. Let me just show you the size difference between the FireFly XL and the regular FireFly. So the regular FireFly is 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 by 3 1/4 inch high to the top of the enclosed firebox. And the XL, in contrast, is 4 by 4 by 4 in terms of the enclosed firebox. And then you have another 2 inches before your pot goes on top of the pot support tabs. But let's look at how different pots go on the stove. So basically, many pots, like this is a 1.3 liter Evernew, will just go on the stove just the way they are. However, if you have a pot like this Foster's beer can pot that does not span a 4-inch gap, without some kind of extra support, it's not going to be supported in the stove. So, along with the stove, I ship standard these pot supports, which are for the sort of smaller pot like a beer can pot. And they just go across the top of the stove tabs from side to side to make an X. And that allows any kind of a smaller pot to be securely supported on top of the stove. The other accessory that comes standard with the stove is a titanium foil insert. And this is useful when you're using the FlexPort, which I'll just open now to show you that. And the FlexPort allows you to feed in longer pieces of wood into the stove, which just make feeding the fire easier, and also allows you to control the heat of the fire by moving sticks in and taking sticks out. As the ends of the sticks burn in the stove, you can just advance the twigs in. But when you use the FlexPort, you've opened up additional ventilation because you've got the bottom ventilation of the stove, now you've got this. So this tends to create a fast burn, and you might be happy with that, or you might want something slower. If you're going to be doing a slower burn, you can use this very lightweight titanium foil insert, and it just goes on top of the stainless steel mesh in the bottom of the stove, and it restricts bottom ventilation so that the ventilation is primarily coming in through the port, and that'll help you have a lower temperature fire with a slower burn for simmering, for grilling, for baking, really for any kind of slower cooking that you want to do. So that's useful. And that pretty much wraps up the FireFly XL. Have a good trek next time you're out on the trail, and take care. This is Chi Whiz.